You awaken at the arrival of a new day, still remembering the strange dreams that just occurred. Everything seems normal as you continue your usual routine. You pour yourself a cup of coffee and get dressed for the day. Then you head for a morning jog. But as you throw open the door, you are met with scorching rays as if beaming through a magnifying glass. Astonishment and fear sink in at the sight before you. The world has become a verdant forest of overgrown foliage and vines. The tree-top canopy seems hundreds of feet above you. Did you shrink? Could it be you're still dreaming? One thing is for sure, things are getting wild. Welcome back to another episode of the Ink Table Podcast, a Lorcana podcast where a group of fellow Illumineers gather around the metaphorical ink table and share their table talk with you. So if you enjoy lore, art, a sense of community, comedic banter, or just all things Disney, then pull up a seat and join hosts Dylan Bailey and Preston McNair as we discuss everything wilds unknown and what lies beyond.
And thank you, John, for that introduction. Man, has it been a jam-packed season full of news. And Preston, I know you've been extremely busy and you're still kind of catching up here. So I guess in this podcast episode today, we'll cover it not only with you, but with our greater audience worldwide. Thanks, everybody, for pulling up a seat. And in this episode of the Ink Table Podcast, we will be discussing everything you need to know about the upcoming set Wilds Unknown, some of the cards that we are personally excited for the most, our continued following of Lorcana's overarching story, updates on some other upcoming products, and a look ahead at Lorcana's future sets. And with all of that being said, let's jump right into the news and let's talk about probably the most important cards for a lot of the community, especially you, Preston. Some of these rarest cards in this upcoming set, the Iconics.
Yeah, and before we talk about that, well, hearing the thematic intro for the first time, I was like, "Did you shrink?" I'm like, "Honey, I shrunk the kids or whatever."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "That's fun." No, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and apologize if you hear me clear my throat or something like that. It's conventions, so I'll leave it at that. It's been a long 9 days, but anyway. The Iconics. So let's just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Now, listen, folks, there's a lot of cards that we're not going to be able to talk about in this podcast episode, but we're going to hit the highlights. But let's just get right into it. Iconic characters, iconic cards for this set. We have two. First of which being the iconic Buzz Lightyear Jungle Ranger. Yeah. Listen, folks, it's been a little hard to get excited for Wilds just because, at least personally, like it's been busy and we're in the middle of set championship season and just a lot of stuff going on. But like now having almost every card revealed at this point, I'm properly excited. It brought me back to that Gen Con energy. But iconic Buzz Lightyear Jungle Ranger. Let's explore the card. 7 cost uninkable, 7 strength, 5 willpower, shift 5. And with the ability to take charge. When you play this character, you may return an action card that costs 7 or less from your discard to your hand. Questing for 2, but also advanced training. Whenever you play an action, chosen character gets +1 lore this turn. So, a few things about this card. And I think Dylan actually made the prediction inside our Collector's Corner Discord whenever we were watching the lore, conversing about the lorecast or the fancy lorecast. This card will, in fact, glow in the dark, which is fun.
It will not glow in the dark.
Oh, will it not glow in the dark? Oh, I thought it did.
It will not. See, that's the fantastic thing about this art.
I thought there was a whole thing. Like image.
Nope.
Did not show it. I saw an image. Is it just the foiling?
So it's just the foiling. So
I'm
this happened
sorry.
later on. Well, you were gone. You were out of town for this. You were busy working. So when we first saw this card, everybody thought this card would glow in the dark because it legitimately looks like the actual Buzz Lightyear action figure. All the parts that you think would glow seem like they're glowing. This is, in fact, the first Emerald iconic card that we've had so far. And I mean, we've been fortunate enough that we've seen some of the iconics in person before. So if you think back all the way to that Brave Little Prince and stuff that we saw, even your Moana that you pulled, you know how like the foiling has that metallic coating or the metallic foil on it? This card, for whatever reason, does not have a metallic foil per se. It is metallic, but it's more the way that the art team described it during the main stage. That instead of like a shimmering, shiny metallic, it is like a matte finish, like a matte finished metallic. So that matte finish gives it this appearance to where, like in certain lighting, it really does look like this Buzz Lightyear glows in the dark. He doesn't, but it dang
Huge missed
sure looks like he
opportunity.
does.
Huge missed
I,
opportunity.
maybe, but like they still killed it with the way that
Yeah,
they
they
did
they
it,
they,
right?
they cook. Yeah, beautiful card. Now a couple things here. One is I love the fact that the aliens made it into the card too, so that's fun.
Yep.
We didn't treat the aliens like we treated Hey Hey with the iconic Moana. But I remember looking at our mascot art where we had the Buzz and Woody. Buzz had the jungle, like the green stripes on his helmet, and I was like, this is probably going to be a card, and well, it is. A few things about the iconics and the enchanteds in general is they are tapping into this what they call Art Nouveau style. Is I guess the original call for it, where it relies a lot on, I believe, circular patterns and also items in nature, which hence the whole Wilds Unknown set. It makes total sense. But they cooked with this card. I figured at least we would get somebody as an iconic, either Buzz or Woody. But yeah, I saw the image from the lore cast where they're showing off the metallic design, and that's what confused me. I thought that's what they were showcasing. There was a side by side of three images of it in different lighting, but they did an incredible job with this card. This is probably going to be the first iconic that me and my wife will probably purchase in one way or another. Just because the Toy Story fan of me just goes, this is a mighty need, to talk the least. But could talk about it for ages, but they did a really good job. We'll talk about abilities and stuff like that. We'll mention that, but there are lower drop Buzz Lightyears that also were printed, obviously. So hence we have a Shift 5.
Yeah.
The
The only
next
thing I'll
one,
say about the ability, real quick,
go
is
for it.
that take charge. When you play this character, you may return an action card with 7 cost or less from your discard to your hand. That does not include Under the Sea. If you know, you know.
Dylan was like, "You can return on the sea," and we're like, "It's 8 cost." I mean, you don't know what you don't like. Yeah, like I've been under the seat enough to where I know it's 8 costs. So, like it's been a recurring theme. The second one here, again, we have two iconics. One that I think caught a lot of people by surprise, and it's one that I kind of figured was going to happen, is that we did not get both Buzz and Woody iconics. Instead, our second iconic of the set is going to be Merida, the formidable archer. So probably one of the most talked about cards in terms of abilities this set. Definitely up there, but Merida being a 5 cost uninkable steel card with 3 strength, 5 willpower, quest for 2, full quiver. When you play this character, you may return an action card named 3 Arrows from your discard to your hand. I know we don't have 3 Arrows pulled up as a card, but 3 Arrows is basically just another ping damage card, essentially. And then Steady Aim. Whenever one of your actions deals damage to an opposing character, you'll deal 2 damage to that character. So if you have an Infinity format, grab your sword and you're dealing 2 damage to everything. The Steady Aim ability will also deal an additional 2 damage to everything it damage. So probably one of the most exciting steel cards. A lot of Sapphire Steel players are very excited about this, but obviously these digital renderings don't do it justice. I encourage you to go into the Lorcana app and pull up these cards and move your phone around so that way you can really see the foiling, that lore foil. But a really great take on Merida here as well. Now, general thoughts, I'll kind of lead things off here. Beautiful iconics. I think if anyone is fortunate or lucky enough to pull an iconic, that's going to be a core memory. Like that's why we graded Moana. That's why we kept Moana. There's too many memories behind that. It's like, where were you whenever you pulled the iconic card? Like it's that type of memory that people have with pulling these cards. However, a lot of people were very disappointed, or at least moderately disappointed, that the two iconic cards of the set were not Buzz and Woody. This is something that I had grew to terms with because we looked at the trends. We saw Wilds, we saw or not Wilds. We saw this in Whispers in the Well, and we also saw this inside Winter Spell. We didn't have Stitch and Angel. Whispers in the Well, we had Ariel and Hades. So we kind of, I had already grown to terms that it wasn't going to be both Toy Story, and they kind of alluded to this on the Lorecast a little bit. They like to diversify out, and that's kind of where I figured they were going to go with the two iconics.
Yeah, I think if you do look at the pattern that they have, since these iconics were introduced in Fabled, there has always been a male and female iconic card per se. Not to genderify it, but from a marketing standpoint and a sales standpoint, which Ravensburger and Disney have to look at, that's something, and that's probably a rule that they have, that they follow, that you have to have both male and female representation within these iconics. Buzz and Woody would have been cool. But at the same time, as many people that like Toy Story, every one of these Disney movies or Pixar movies is someone's favorite movie. So diversifying it the way that they did by having both Merida from Brave and Buzz from Toy Story opens it up to where maybe, I mean, blasphemy, right? Maybe Toy Story isn't someone's favorite Disney Disney movie there. Maybe they truly do like Brave better than Toy Story, and that this would be their chase for them over the Buzz.
Yep.
I know that's not going to be the case for many people, but it will be the case for some.
Yeah, and it's also
it's okay, right?
Yeah,
It
no, I
is the
mean
princesses.
they like their princesses. So I mean, in Winter Spell we had Pocahontas and Moana. We had no male character in that set, but
Yeah, even going back,
yeah,
Hades Ariel. Ariel was the princess there.
yeah. So I think they're great picks. I think we had come to terms that it probably was. I had come to terms with it wasn't going to be them two, but um, the fact that I think it's safe to say that, well, Minnie being, well, was Minnie a princess in Fabled? Was she a
Oh yeah, she
okay?
sure was.
So I think it's a safe assumption, just looking at the trend, is at least one of the iconics will be at least a princess for each set. What things could change, we don't know.
Maybe.
But I think this is, I think these two cards are beautiful. Now we're not going to be able to talk about every single enchanted. We'll talk about some things as they pop up, but again, the iconics being the iconics. And I have a very odd feeling that on the secondary market, oh,
They'll be up there.
uh,
Especially Buzz. I feel like even though
yeah,
Merida, this is like the first time we're seeing Brave and she is a princess, even with princess tags, I feel like that Buzz is going to be looked at under a different spotlight, very reminiscent to possibly that Brave Little Prince that we saw in Fabled. That's just my opinion there.
it's up there. It's almost like we had the first iconics of Mickey and Minnie. The first Toy Story iconic was Buzz. So like I think Buzz is going to be highly sought after. Both of these cards highly sought after. But these are your two iconics for the Wilds Unknown set. But Woody didn't get left out entirely. And that is because they also revealed the set championship promo. Let's go ahead and take a look at the. We have a lot of things. Let's take a look at the promo card. So Woody did get the enchanted treatment to some degree. So Woody ended up getting the Jungle Guide card as the set championship promo and top 8 foil cards. So if we take a look at Woody Jungle Guide, 5 cost uninkable, 1/5. Shift 3, let's get moving. Whenever this character quest, draw a card, then you may play a character with cost 2 or less for free. And everyone gather around. Your other toy characters get +1 willpower questing for 2. So again, I think this is the first time we've talked about it, but shocker, toy synergy. Toy decks are going to be a thing. in Wilds Unknown, and I'm glad that they didn't leave Woody out. I figured Woody would get something, but now you have to go to your set championship to get the only Woody I'm gonna say enchanted. They really don't call these enchanted cards in a sense, but these promos, if you will. But with that, you got the promo, but then you also got the playmat. Yikes. I thought Tinkerbell was a mighty need. Yeah. I love what they're doing with the champion playmats. They're having the set symbol and the champion text in the lower left-hand corner, like not overlapping the art. That's something new they started in Winterspell, and they're doing it here. But they for your first place winner for Wilds and In-Store Championships will receive the Woody Playmat. Now keep in mind, you'll get the non-foil promo by simply showing up to a set championship. You'll get the foil for top 8, but the playmat still reserved for the first place winner here.
Oh, as somebody who doesn't have any of these playmats, how many of these have actually been foiled?
The playmat's not foiled. None of the set championship playmats are foil.
This is not a foil playmat?
They have a Buzz and Woody one that's foil. That's a Disney exclusive.
But this one is not.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Part of me, for whatever reason, I thought that this was a foiled playmat.
I don't think so. They've never foiled the set, unless I missed something. But they've never foiled the. Dylan's gonna go on a quick search here.
Yeah,
he's pulled up.
You ramble. I'm searching, but
yeah,
because if they did, this is I get it, right? There's been so many arguments. It's bring back the second place mats, but we're sitting here talking about how the little things of them changing the placement of where it says champion and the logo and stuff. John says it's not.
Not foiled.
He's on top of it. Okay, cool. It just looks foiled. It looks great. And maybe that's something as simple as adding the foiling that people, I highly doubt it, but that community of people who have lit their matchsticks here, like Woody saying, hey, bring back a second place playmat. Yo, like Ravensburger, how about let's get some foiled placemats or playmats for that champion playmat too? Because Woody already looks foiled. And how many people would calm down then and be like, they would be a bigger chase for everybody for sure if they were foiled. But
yeah,
I really love the little things that they're doing with it. Will I ever own one? Probably not, but
I'll give it a good college try. That's all we can do. But no, so Buzz and Woody, they did get the special treatment just in different flavors. I think that's the right way to do it. I thought there was going to be a good chance they would just do a Woody Enchanted just to give people the opportunity of finding something lower rarity. But at least you go to a set championship, you get the non-foil, you're still able to own the Woody. Now again, people, and this is something that's also come up quite a bit, is people think that this is no, we could have a Buzz or Woody Enchanted sets down the road. Just because they're in this format now inside the set championship and the iconic doesn't mean that we're not going to get a Woody Enchanted in a few sets. So just remember that as we get into it. I think they did a really good job at diversifying and incentivizing play, both product buying, but also set championship promos and stuff like that. But May 8th is around the corner. Dylan, we've talked about before, but there's a big thing changing whenever it comes to pre-release.
Yeah, we will have these excellent pre-release boxes. We're catching up with other TCGs. I'm not sure if we have an image, but I know that we've showed it off here in the past. But you will get this pre-release box, as they are calling it now, not a pre-release kit. Somewhere along the way, they changed the name there. But this will include 6 packs of Wilds Unknown. You will get 4 Lorcana-themed dice. And then within that, you will also receive one of 3 different postcards. And in the past, we knew that they were postcards, but had no clue what they actually looked like. And now we know. So these postcards will be of the Wildernaut, which is this swampy forest area. And then you have the Great Empty Sea, which is a barren desert. and then the torch-like peaks, which is very Fortisphere looking to me once you're up top there. But it's like these mountain peaks with some lava and stuff flowing through. Within the story of Wilds Unknown here, they had like this crazy rule of three. It's crazy that it's like all about sticking together, and you have these families, whether it's the Madrigals, the Incredibles, the Rescue Rangers, all the toys from Toy Story, and all the way to our main three Illumineers there, Martin, Shanze, and Venturo. They've all been split up across these different biomes that you can see here within these postcards, and each biome is going to be representative of the Illumineer that is there. So, like, Shanze's in the Torchlight Peaks. So, this is going to be representative of the Amethyst and Steel Ink that she controls, whereas Martin in the Wildernaut will have Amber and Emerald, and Venturo in the Great Empty Sea will have Sapphire and Ruby. And all of the glimmers in the cards that you see throughout Wilds Unknown, they'll kind of be like you'll see that for whatever ink color they are, you can see the location that they're in based upon that, which is pretty neat. I really like that they're doing that, and just having something collectible as well, like as a collectible experience now participating in these pre-release events. I think that we're all going to try to like get all three of these. We're going to try our best to get all three of these and have them. I know there's been some talk. Maybe we'll have some actual pen pals and send these off to people. That'd be cool to see. But I know I can't wait to try to get my hands on all three of them just to have.
It's a good touch.
Moving
Good
on,
touch.
it is. It's great. And then, but that's not the only little collectible that they have, because we will also be receiving pre-release promos. I know in the past, whenever you participated in a pre-release event, whether it be draft or sealed, you were given a pre-release promo. Now you get one of 6, and you have no clue which one you will get. They will be within your pre-release kit itself, and there is one for each of the 6 different ink colors. And all of these are different travelers. So you have Ariel, the Curious Traveler, Maleficent. I can't even see the word. Imperious Traveler, Cruella de Vil, which is crazy, 4/4 quest for 4. Judgmental Traveler representing Emerald. Queen of Hearts, the Impatient Traveler for Ruby. Cinderella, the Resourceful Traveler for Sapphire. And Pocahontas, the Steadfast Traveler for Steel. I think the most important thing about these cards here are not only do you have one of 6 that you can get, but they are all stamped with a Wilds Unknown logo. And I think that this is just the first time we're seeing this, and we will continue to see this in future pre-release packs or boxes where it will have a stamp to represent that this is the set that it came from, which I think just makes it even more special. And I don't know if you got to see this yet or not, Pressing, because I think this was covered in the main stage. But these stamps for where it says like Wilds Unknown and stuff, these actually have the rainbow foil.
I did not know that. That's even cooler.
Oh yeah,
that's neat. I like this because I think Pokemon has done stamped promos. I would like to see this go to like the weekly play promos. Personally, I would like to see that kind of make its way. But and also something here as well. And just for comparison, I think something we even talked about long ago, whenever this was announced, was would this increase the cost of pre-release? And personally speaking, our home store is charging 35. I've seen some stores charge 40. I forget what they said MSRP on this should be.
MSRP is 40. Our store's
40?
taking a
Okay.
hit by charging the usual 35, which
Okay.
bless
Well,
them
that's
for
cool.
doing so. But
So
yeah,
MSRP
it's really up to
technically
your
did go up.
LGS. Yeah.
Yeah. And the idea behind this is, again, just like Dylan mentioned, you get 6 packs. That's what you play with for the evening, rather than your local game shop ripping booster boxes and distributing out product accordingly. You pay, you get the thing. And I think that's really cool. It takes a lot of the game shops already do so much. And I think they don't have to worry about finding promos or losing promos. Like everything is just in the box. I would probably assume that this will probably be available at most local game shops inevitably after sealed if they have any left over. But I really like the idea of just you pay, you get the thing. So nice little touch.
Yeah, but get on the RPH, the Lorcana Play Hub, and go ahead and register for your pre-release events. That way, your store has a total and they have a head count for this stuff. That way, they know how much they need to get for like allocation. But these pre-release boxes and those pre-release events, whether it be sealed or draft, isn't the only thing that'll be happening on May 8th, because there is another promo that you can get just for pre-ordering some Disney Lorcana booster boxes. We will once again have that buy a box promo, or your box topper, as it's called in other TCGs. And this one's pretty cool. This one is a Amethyst 4-cost uninkable dash Parr lava runner. He's a 3/2 that quests for 2. He has rush and this ability, Record Tom. This character can quest the turn he has played.
Merlin
This
Goat
is a
back.
promo. Yeah, but this is a promo that I think is actually going to see play in many different decks.
Yeah, I agree.
So what else? I mean, well, that's just your pre-release promos that you can get, but there are plenty more promos that you can get throughout this 10-week cycle of Wilds Unknown, because we actually have a seasonal promo that we may or may not ever see, because not only do we have Dash, but we have his sister, Violet Parr, as well. Love that they're doing that they have the brother-sister wombo combo of promo cards here. And this is a 3-cost inkable evasive 4/2 quest for 1. With her ability Deflect, when you play this character, you may move 1 damage from chosen character to chosen opposing character. And help me out here, Preston, but these seasonal promos, I know that it's kind of in the air about how you receive them and how you don't get them, but it's typically when you participate in a Ravensburger hosted event, correct?
Yeah, which apparently doesn't include DLCs, but we'll save that for another day. They never said it doesn't include DLCs, but I've been to 2 DLCs, getting ready to go to 3. So I'll tell you all if Violet Parr makes an appearance in Indianapolis. But yeah, the only place I have seen this is at Gen Con, and then also at things like PAX and stuff like that. Is really the only place I've seen these seasonal promos.
And then, if you can't make it out to these Ravensburger hosted events, that's okay, because we once again have our organized play promos that you can get just for participating in your weekly play at your local LGS. The first of which is the wonderful Lenny toy binoculars. Such a really cool card. I love that they kept this, I forget what they call it, man, like this storybook border that they have on these organized play cards now. We haven't even really talked about it, but it appears still on all of our cards here. But Lenny toy binoculars, he's a 3-cost inkable 0/2. Take a good look. When you play this character, chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards an action card of your choice, similar to that 2-drop Ursula that we've seen in the past. But I think hers is just songs. And then this ability coming up fast. Once during your turn, whenever you play an action, you may ready this character. No
And
restrictions, just ready the character.
I love how they cooked with this set, but I love how Buzz Lightyear is just in the lens of Lenny. Like if you look very closely, he's in the reflection.
So Lenny and the look that Lenny is giving this Buzz is just how I picture you and your face and the look that you gave when you saw the iconic card.
Well, after I came down from being spoiled, but we're not going to talk about that there for a little bit. But no, a really cool promos. But also we have a little bit of Sapphire love with the OP promos.
Yeah, I mean, we have Zipper, Tiny Helper, a 1-cost inkable 0/4 vanilla card,
So,
but I mean, still really cool art Zipper here, which is great. And then lastly, we have Wisp, or the Will-O-Wisp, which is from Brave. So new franchise, new IP, just like the Lenny from Toy Story. And this is a 1-drop Will-O-Wisp Forest Spirit, a 0/3 quest for 1. Come on out. It has that normal ability that a lot of cards now have, that when this character is banished in a challenge, you may return this card to your hand. And I could be wrong, but I think this may be the first 1-drop that we're seeing with that ability.
I think you're right. Because usually Cameo and others have been a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
No, it's I like that they've maintained the promo or the border of it. I know some people don't like it, which was kind of interesting, but for
What?
me, it's something new. Yeah. I know some people didn't like it. I'm like, I dig it. It's something new. The storybook, gold border. Um, yeah, I think it's going to be really, really fun. And they've done a good job making sure that between Enchanted, Iconics, and promos, like a little bit of every set got a little bit of love. So between Lenny and Wisp, I dig it. But obviously, there's a lot more cards out there. I think every card has been revealed at this point. If there
I think
is,
so.
there's like one or two, not six or seven, maybe just one or two that's still around. But let's take a look at, let's do a little round table and kind of showcase some cards. Now, again, there's way too many cards to talk about. We can't. But I want our friend John here to kick things off. John was really quiet last episode and for good reason. We're feeling better today.
Oh yeah,
But John, we got two.
I do. I have more than two, but
Get to control yourself.
Well, yeah. I mean, we kind of already talked about the Meredith, and the one of the ones. Well, we actually already talked about this one, the Robin Hood too. That's one of the ones I'm excited about because I can actually get that other Robin, the big Robin, back into play. I haven't been able to play that thing since since rotation, really. Oh yeah, we tried to play it. In some decks, but it just never really worked. And that was always one of my favorite cards from, what was the first set that thing came out in? Inklings?
I think so. Either Floodborn or Inklands.
Yeah,
we're talking about the 5-cost, Shift 3, Robin Hood, Sheriff of Sherwood Forest or something?
Something like that. The Hero of Sherwood Forest. I think is what it was called. But yeah, that's a card that I always enjoyed having in my Steel Song deck, so it's always a fun one to play. So I'm excited to be able to get that back.
Champion of Sherwood.
Champion, that's it. I couldn't even remember what it was. I knew it was something of Sherwood Forest. That's all I could remember.
It's been that long since we got to play him, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. So, but yeah, so this time around it's going to be in a blue steel deck, so that should be interesting. For me anyway. I have been thinking.
You played a little bit of Sapphire Steel, though.
I have. It was an ally deck that I played. So this time it's going to probably be shifting more to a hero deck. So, with Robin Hoods being heroes, get the Meredith in there. She's a hero and a princess. So it's going to be it's going to be a ping damage deck. Get ready. So it's all I can say is it's going to be a ping damage deck. I'm happy that they finally got a 1-drop Robin though, because I know
a lot of people are.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, especially at League. As soon as I'd play a Robin, they'd be like, "Oh, here we go. I know it's coming in 2 turns, and we got to get rid of Robin." They know the big Robin's coming out.
The only thing that I don't necessarily like about this is, yeah, it's cool that we have this 1-drop and you now can do that shift, right? That everybody used to play before. But now you're limited that if you want to play that 1-drop Robin Hood onto the shift, then you have to play Sapphire Steel. Right. Whereas before, when you had a 1-drop Steel character, you could play that shift line in any ink combination.
Yep.
It didn't have to just be Sapphire Steel.
Yeah, that's the one thing that disappoints me a little bit, because I can't cram it into a song deck or a Steel Song or
right.
like it used to be. Which that's okay. I like to have a couple decks to play with during League play anyway. So, and I do like Blue Steel. It's been a fun deck to play. So this will just be a different style.
I love the art on it too.
Yeah,
like we're adventuring and. I haven't memorized the locations, but which one's this one? It's the
Great Empty Sea.
Yeah, Great Empty Sea. So I like how just the level of depth on this one too. I mean, yeah, we always kind of wondered what would happen to the 1-drop. Like, would they reprint the steel? But the steel was a 2/2, was it, that got rotated out?
Yep.
So we got a 1/3 here.
Yeah.
So. Potato.
Yeah. Well, 6 of one, half dozen of another. And the other card, this card is great, and I probably won't play it this set. This is taking over Troubadour's spot when rotation happens. But it's Alan Adale. It's a 3/2 2-cost 3-2-4 singer 4, which is pretty much Troubadour, except Troubadour had resist 1 instead of what it was. He a 3? See, now I'd have to look it up. I don't even remember. Is he a 2 or a 3? 1-3. Oh, let me look real quick because I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's essentially, that's what this is. This is a Troubadour. I've got it almost pulled up here. He's a 1-3.
I could spell his name.
I just
With
looked
resist
it
one.
up with resist
issue.
1. Yeah. So technically
Yeah.
he's a 2-3. So now this one's a 3-2. But still, he's a singer 4 on turn 2, which is the big thing. So,
yeah. The big thing being Troubadour is a Amber Steel dual link card that we right now we believe will be rotated out and will not be reprinted. Could he be? Sure, but very not likely. And like looking at Stillsong is on the rise. I think you're right. I think that Alan Adele here will be that Troubadour replacement in a lot of Stillsong decks.
We also have to think about it from an affinity perspective as well. So another tool in the toolbox. And I feel like that's something a lot of people are, including myself, are forgetting a little bit. Is we have at least 3 DLCs with Infinity format, and it's open season. Like, not because he's a chicken, but I mean it is literally open season. Like it's gonna be hard to tell what sticks. Troubadour is still nice, obviously, but yeah, I would rather have some versatility and have the 3 strength on this guy.
Yeah, I think I would too. I think I would too. Which, when it comes out, I will probably plop him in the Steel Song deck just to see how he plays and take out the Troubadour. But for now, I mean, my plan is to keep Troubadour in there, or maybe do 2 and 2. Who knows? I mean, change it up. Whoa.
Listen, we're recording this at we were up before 9 o'clock, so we're vibing at this point.
Yeah. It was. I'm tired, but yeah. I mean, those are the two main staple cards. Like I said, the Merida and the what is the action card with her, the 3 arrows, or that's what I'm looking at in a Sapphire Steel deck at this point. Should be fun. May even try to work Fire the Cannons in there if I can. We'll see how. We'll see what uninkables. We'll see what uninkables look like. I don't like to run much above 13 uninkables if I can help it. So you get to a point where you get too many in there, and then that's all I draw on a hand is all uninkables.
The world without
you always get smash.
Well, that's true, and that was in my original ally deck, so that could go back in there too. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting season for a set that. Well, we could talk about that later. I was going to say for a set that I'm not super impressed with, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, those are my 2 cards.
Strange times, and that kind of brings me to my 2 picks. Is my first one being Strange Things. I forget where I was. I've been in Nashville for way too long for any human to be in Nashville. And I think I saw this one. I think somebody sent it to me. And I love this card. Well, there's 2 reasons why I love this card. One, I think the ability is really fun. I think with a Amber Singer, I think this can shut down a lot of really great Amber decks. There's tools in the toolbox to where you can not ready exerted characters. But this is just flat up, hey, you cannot quest and you draw a card. But Strange Things being a 4-cost, inkable action song, and up to 2 chosen characters can't quest till the start of your next turn and draw a card. I think it's gonna slow things down a little bit. I don't know if it's gonna see a lot of competitive play, but I think it's a good tool in the toolbox to slow things down a little bit. But I absolutely love the art of this card. I love it because think back to Toy Story. If you haven't seen Toy Story, I'm so sorry, but spoilers. So think back to Toy Story. And so Strange Things is a song, and the song was playing in the scene where Woody was becoming distraught that Buzz was Andy's favorite toy. And the song is written from Woody's perspective of Buzz kind of taking over the room. And it's a really cool depiction with this because, yeah, Buzz is very loud and proud taking over the room, but it's also an odd to this vine, this strange thing is happening with the vine. So I saw this and it's like core memory neuron activation. I'm like, wait, that scene from Toy Story, like it makes total sense why they did this. So other than the iconics in terms of like a standard card, the way the way the card and the song is depicted is it was they did who was Emily did a fantastic job depicting the scene not only from the movie but in keeping the same vibe for Wilds Unknown.
I mean, it's a double Heffalumps and Woozles is the best way that I can explain it, right? Heffalumps and Woozles is a 2-drop song that has that same ability, but you're only getting to do it on one character, whereas this is double the cost and double the amount of characters that you get to do it to.
That's where Alan Adale comes in, or somebody. But yeah, I think it's really fun. Except it's like not to like it's except in the movie, it's kind of like not derogatory in terms of like Woody's disrupt, but Woody's obviously in a situation here, and then it's like Buzz is like taking over the thing. But anyway, I love it. It's a cool card. It's been stuck in my head ever since I saw the card first revealed. Like in the back of my head, if you don't know the song, look it up on Spotify or your platform of choice. It's a super fun one. But lastly, who would have thunk that a chipmunk would cause so much conversation? Because now this is an overlap between mine and Dylan's, but we have my second pick and one of Dylan's picks is Dale ready for his shot. Hold on to your diapies, babies. We got a 4-cost inkable, 0 strength, 4 willpower, questing for 2, spike suit being the ability. During challenges, your characters deal damage with their willpower instead of their strength. Now, let's think about this for a moment. So let's use this in perspective. If you have a Surfer Stitch out who's a 4 strength, 8 willpower, and you have a Dale out, Surfer Stitch is dealing 8 damage. If you have something like a Hades Infernal Schemer, a 3/6, Dale is out, Hades is hitting for 6 because he has 6 willpower. Now, there's a lot of different directions. Like the jury is still out on this card, on all the cards really, but this is probably one of the most discussed ones next to Merida that I've seen so far.
Yep.
So I have
Just
ideas, just beefy body, like, have Dale for beefy bodies, but Dylan and the Mad Mind Masterman here, what's your thoughts with Dale?
so many thoughts. The first is fear. The first is fear for sure because
Where's
a
Madame
lot of my
Medusa when we need
cards.
her?
It's not even that. As somebody who wants to play this and wants to play other cards, like the people in our Discord know, I have a love-hate relationship with strength-based removal, whether it's Big Sisu or Under the Sea and stuff like that, because I hate cards that limit me whenever I am deck building that's saying, hey, you have to play cards with 3 strength or more, because if not, you just lose the game.
Little
And I
Sisu,
think
little
Dell
thing.
is right. There's a new card that just got introduced. It might be like the Firefly Swarm or something that does the same thing. Oh, the new Sapphire card or Ruby card or something that's like someone's going to lose their head. That's like a song that gives everybody -2 strength. This, either way, it's just a love-hate relationship. And a lot of the cards that I enjoy playing, and I guess it's a balancing thing, right? They have great abilities, but their strength is always on the lower side. It's 2 cost or less. Dell encourages you to play cards like that have low strength, high willpower to an extent. I know you're over there picking people who already have that 3 strength, like Hades, right? Or the Surfer Stitch, who's kind of already on the higher side. My mind instantly goes to bodyguards because those are my 2 passions: support and bodyguard. And I haven't
Bodyguards
got to play a
typically
bodyguard
have
deck in a
higher willpower
long
than
time.
strength.
Right. So that, I mean, it would be fantastic with Dell. You team him up with, I know everybody's talking Amber Champion. Everybody's talking about that Amber Ruby, the Mulan Elite Archer, who's just a 2/6 unless you shift her. And if you shift her, she gets 5 strength for that turn. but the fact that she could swing into something every turn with her 6 willpower instead, and then still be able to ping that same amount of damage onto another character, that's fantastic. Um, I think there's been a high discussion about this card in the same sense that we've had it about dogs in the past, and this was a more recent thing that we've had. Is I want to hear what people have to say. Are we going to see more Dell decks, or are we going to see Dell counter decks? Because he's the kind of card that has so many people talking about him that we could end up seeing decks built to counter what he's trying to do rather than actually see him in action. But I want to see him in action. And honestly, I'm thinking Amethyst Amber aggro at this point with some tiny bodyguards and stuff. We just got that new location, the stone circle, where your exerted characters can move there for free, and once per turn when a character moves there you gain 1 lore. Bodyguards interplay exerted, like you can choose to have them enter exerted. Go ahead, move to the location for free, gain that passive lore off of it. I mean, there's just so many directions you can go with this. Amber, you're talking Amber Sapphire. I know that you really like your control version, but there's a whole thing now where there are cards that are wanting to heal, like intentionally take damage and heal. So if you've played Dell, you got all these characters with high willpower. They're going to stay on the board for a while, swing into stuff, use your Sapphire synergy to heal them and gain lore off of it. There's just so many different directions this one card can take multiple different decks and different inked combos.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you play this on turn 4. Your next play, let's say you go first, then I just play Thunderbolt. Then it doesn't matter if you've got bodyguards or whatever.
I was getting ready to mention that. So I don't think Dale is going to be a card that people are going to expect to have on board for a while. It is going to be something where you have dry, ready characters. Then you play Dale, then you go swinging, and then Dale has done his job because immediately he's going to get thunderbolted, Sisu'd, removed in some way.
Right.
So I don't.
Yeah, he's a target.
He's a target. So I don't expect people to. I expect people to hold back Dale and play him whenever he's needed for the other characters already dry and stuff like that.
You think he's going to be more of an in-game board wipe kind of?
Yeah,
card?
I mean, you can turn the tables in one card if your board is correct. That's the thing. Yeah. If your board is correct, you can turn the tables. Now, I'm sure Dale will probably stick around, but it goes back. If Dale becomes a very popular card, there are many tools to get rid of him. You got Steel, you got Thunderbolt, little Sisu, managed characters 1 strength or less. And I think it's still too early, but for me, it's not something I'm looking to play like immediately. Like it's something I'm gonna hold, play, and then suddenly the bodyguards are hitting for 1 million. Then suddenly your other characters with high willpower are hitting for quite a bit. But I could be wrong in this, but we got a card that allows. Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm sorry, that's a different card. But I think there's a gadget that you can, or is it zipper that you can pass willpower onto another character. Do we get that card? I thought it was the gadget.
So there's actually 2. There's a Sapphire Zipper, I do believe, if I can find him. We're not going to have the image of him on here, but there is a Sapphire Zipper. He's a 4-cost inkable 0/6 Floodborn, so he's a shift 2. So that promo that we talked about earlier, that's a 1-drop. This guy's a shift 2 for it. He's a 0/6, but whenever this character quests, you may add his willpower to another chosen character's strength this turn. Which wouldn't matter here, I don't think, with Dell, because you're passing it to their strength. And whenever they're challenging, they're not challenging with their strength anyways. They're challenging with their willpower.
You can't choose. It overrides your character's strength at that point. Willpower is the variable.
Yeah, and then there's another card. It's in Amber. It is a 2-cost inkable action called Ranger Team Up that says that chosen character gets strength or plus strength equal to their willpower this turn, which kind of runs along with Dell and is still the Rescue Rangers and stuff there.
Okay, maybe
just a smaller form and action version.
Thought we had that, but
also notable with Dell, because I know there's still some confusion out there with this card. It does not switch your strength and your willpower, right? Like if you have like even Dell for instance, who's a 0-4, it does not switch it to where he is now a 4-0 or anything like that. Like he
He's
is
still
now just
zero
a 4. Yeah, he's a 4-4 essentially when he challenges. When he challenges, it's like they're gaining challenger equal to
in a
whatever their
way.
willpower is.
Yeah.
Almost. Well, I wouldn't even say gaining challenger because you're not adding it to their strength. It just whatever their willpower is, that equals their strength. I don't know. It's some really cool cards.
Yeah.
Speaking of
It's a
cool
fun card.
cards, that brings us to our last pick here, or my last pick, and I know it's not going to get as much love as what Dell does, but speaking like keeping on theme with Rescue Rangers, we do have a 4-cost uninkable Gadget Hack Wrench, who is a 1/5, and honestly, I don't even know if this is the card I really should have picked here. But her abilities, Time to Tinker, when you play this character, you may play an item with 3 cost or less for free. Who cares? I don't care about that ability. The one I care about is the well supplied. Your characters with support get +1 lore. And this is such a cool ability to have here. I know whenever this card was revealed, everybody in the Discord was like, at Dylan, at Dylan, at Dylan. Because they know that is the passion, right? So Gadget Hack Wrench giving extra lore to all of my characters with support. And then they also released a new card in this set. It's a Sapphire 3-cost item. I guess this does play along with that Time to Tinker ability. When you play this character, you may play an item with 3 costs or less for free. So you can now play the new Ranger plane, if I can pull it up, which is a inkable 3-cost item that says your characters gain support. So there's synergy there. You have that item in play. All of your characters in play now have support. And then it has the ability Big Lift that you can exert the item. Chosen character with 10 strength or more gets +3 lore this turn. So it's essentially Alice Growing Girl in item form, or you're giving any one of your characters, when you exert it, that Alice Growing Girl ability. So if you have characters on board, they all have support. All of your characters with support gain +1 lore from the Gadget Hack Wrench. So they all start questing. If they quest for 1 normally, they're now questing for 2. If they quest for 2 normally, they're now questing for 3, thanks to Gadget.
Yeah.
They're passing that support around, and if you stack it all onto one character, then you can now exert the Ranger plane, and that character not only will have the +1 lore from Gadget Hack Wrench, but it can get the +3 lore on top of that from the Ranger plane as well. So you could take cards and just go really, really fast using support, which isn't what I've typically been doing, but I absolutely love it. And we have a card that's getting ready to be rotated out. It's the Great Illuminary, and the Great Illuminary gives all of your characters with support extra lore and extra willpower while they are there. And I just think that this right now is the perfect time to be able to play that card before it gets rotated out with this type of synergy.
Yeah. And looking at Gadget, having 5 willpower, it's almost like they're like, again, historically Sapphire's kind of been low willpower or low strength, high willpower in a way. So I would just go, and I hate to go back to Dale, but they're kind of positioning a lot of Sapphire cards this set to benefit from Dale. But obviously, we know that people are going to run with it in 20 different directions. But it's yeah, I think about like with this with like Popsicle and like Affinity format and then playing like Bell and stuff like that. I almost freaked out because I initially I thought this was a 2-drop at first, and I freaked out and I was like, wait a second, it's 4 drops, and never mind. I don't know why I registered it was there, but it's we see the recurring theme: characters support +1 lore. Sign you up.
It could go fast. But with all of that being said, I think that is our coverage for Wilds Unknown, at least, before we move on to these sets beyond. So to kind of close things up, let's have a roundtable discussion here amongst us here at the Ink Table. What are we now feeling whenever it comes to the set, now that all the cards have been revealed? Are we excited? How excited are we? What are we thinking whenever it comes to buying product? Like, there's so many questions here. Let's kind of start with that. How do we feel about the IP and the franchises that are now being introduced? Because they are going full force into Pixar.
I'm happy with it. personally. I think we've talked about this previously. I don't want to rehash it, but they definitely surprised us whenever they decided to do the Incredibles and Brave alongside Toy Story, because we knew that there was like a Toy Story set coming. And by all intents and purposes, I think the count was Toy Story did have like the most cards in terms of franchise in this set. But
Brave had the second most.
Brave had the second most. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's been a good introduction to it. I like the rendition of it. I think Toy Story was a good set for Wilds Unknown, just thematically, because story wise, which I know we'll talk about a little bit, but I'm overall happy with it. Like, this has probably been the most excited I've been for a set in a very long time. I think the last time I was really excited for a set was no, I don't want to say Fabled, but I think I was really excited for Jafar. Was the last one I was really excited for, and it's kind of got some wind back in the sails a little bit. And plus, I've taken a little bit of a break. We don't play nearly as much Lorcana, and we did that strategically. Like, after Richmond, I was like, okay, like I need to like pump the brakes a little bit, because otherwise I'm not going to be excited for Wilds Unknown. I'm not going to be excited for Toy Story. So I'm excited.
John, I know you have thoughts. So
Yeah, I mean,
what's in your mind?
I mean, I like the franchises they've added. It's like Preston said. I think Toy Story's a good fit in the Vines. I think Brave is too. With the if you've seen that movie recently, it's a lot of running through the forest and shooting this and doing. It's a lot of what you would think of in a situation like this. I mean, yeah, IP wise, I think what they've added is fantastic. It's going to get a lot of more people into the game. I think there's Pixar and Toy Story is a big thing. Is it my Disney? No, but I mean, I enjoy Toy Story and stuff like that. I actually I'm one of those guys that kind of like Brave more than I like Toy Story, but that's just
same. Yeah,
that's just me. I mean, I know Toy Story's big. We watched it in the movie theaters when it first came out. All that, all the stuff that you do. But
the first two were great. The third one was good, but the third one wouldn't have been as good if it wasn't for the first two, and then it should have ended at 3.
I don't think I've seen 3 or 4. I don't think I've watched those two.
It's been a long time.
You're fine.
Yeah. I don't think I watched those 2. I know I didn't see 4. I might have seen 3, but I know I didn't see 4. So, but yeah, I mean, franchise-wise,
5's just around the corner.
Well, yeah, I know. So it's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to watch 4 to understand 5. I don't think there are those kind of movies that I have to watch one to understand the next one. But yeah, no. I mean, as far as IP goes, yeah, I think they were spot on and good with the choices this time around.
See, and we kind of already talked about the art, so I don't think we need to go back and hash that out again. But with the whole, that they're going fantastic. The lore nouveau, I love this blend that they have of this storybook Lorcana art style mixed with art nouveau with the organic shapes, the natural pieces of nature. They did fantastic. It's a great pick for Wilds Unknown as a set. They always do good with the art.
I can't wait to see one in hand, because last set's Enchanteds were fantastic in hand. They were way better in hand than they were picture-wise, so I'm anxious to see.
Can I be that guy?
Sure.
What if the quality control is just as bad?
I don't want to talk about the quality.
I'm going to be that guy. I mean, we've talked about it enough, but I really hope they
we have our eyes out.
Yeah,
we have our eyes out. We're watching it. That'll be a discussion for next podcast after we've opened product to say, hey, you guys did good.
It'll be discussion. It'll be discussion during unboxing as well this time around, because we will keep a better eye on things than we did the last time. Yeah. Sorry, you're Enchanted. Here's 2 packs for you.
So here's my question from a story person. Is there enough art and lore to re-immerse us back into the story? Because I know, Preston, you were kind of I haven't paid attention to the story since our Jafar. essentially. Since after rotation happened with Fabled and they took a break from the story there, we've had this slow burn of a story with this Vine since, I mean, even back in Whispers in the Well, when this Vine first appeared, which in Hinwin's vision and stuff, right? And then we saw Elsa freeze it in Winter Spell, and now we're slowly seeing it grow, and we already know the next set we'll see the culmination of this overarching story. Is there enough there for you to make you care about it at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it goes back. It's like I want to care more than what I do, and because again, like the first 8 sets was boom, 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 boom. I don't know if that's just the TikTok mindset or whatever that people have nowadays, but I will say this: the from what I've seen, like thematically with the art, yeah, like it's cool. It's a lot. It's a little bit more immersive than Winterspell and Whispers in the Well. I will admit. I will say that you look at these cards, and yeah, I mean, there's cards that were immersive in those sets, but with Wilds, like you definitely know what's happening. Like, but if you look at Strange Things, if you look at the locations, if you look at the Alien Enchanted or the Claws, the freaking plant and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, like I'm a little bit more interested now than what I have been for the past 2 sets. We'll see what lore cards look like, but I think I think the thing that really sucked it out of me was the very slow burn of 3 sets to get to the action in a sense. Like it makes sense that we can't, like, if we have a set in between, like, we go from we sailed the Azurite Sea to get to Arcasia's Island, like one set with, like, I mean, I pick on Azurite, but like that was enough to keep you in, but it's like you knew that something was coming up. So going 3 sets before we got to action, in a sense, I think wasn't great for just people like me. But I'm more interested now than what I was. We'll see what the lore cards reveal, and it's not like I haven't known what's been going on. It's like, cool, a pig had a vision, and there's a vine. That's basically the
But
last
why do we care?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all been like, why do we care about this?
right.
That's really it.
Yeah.
But the big question here, and I guess it's like last 2 questions here for this. Number one, we already have all the card reveals for this set. No reprints. First set that we have had since, I want to say,
Jafar.
Reign of Jafar, with no reprints in it whatsoever, and we've already been told that Attack of the Vine is not going to be a reprint set like Fabled was. No Super Goof reprint, darn. I mean, that legitimately does stink, but
Yeah.
what do we think about the fact that there were no reprints in this set whatsoever?
Well, we know that Attack of the Vine is not going to be a reprint set. They're not going to be doing
Right.
that like that. So I would expect some in Attack of the Vine, but I don't think we're not gonna have another set like Fabled. So I would expect there to be some reprints in Attack of the Vine
Yeah, I think there was too many new stuff with Pixar
with this set.
and with this set
Yeah.
to even put reprints in.
It's hard to reprint stuff and then have The Incredibles, Brave,
Yeah.
and Toy Story in
Yeah.
a set. So
Right.
Literally, you
I
probably would
think
have just
Attack of
had
the Vine will be the
those.
one.
You would just had those franchises, and then the rest of the cards would have been, some of the cards would have
Yeah.
been reprints. You wouldn't have gotten any new kind of,
It would have been like
so-
Fabled all over. It would have been like just
Yeah.
Dumbo, and yeah, like it
Yeah.
kind of would have been Fabled in a sense.
But then to compare this even more to Fabled, I think that brings us to our last thing here is this is the first set since Fabled that will only have a 10-week cycle, 70 days per se, rather than a 12-week cycle. And I know that's only like 2 extra weeks there in the difference, but that kind of matters as we run right into that next set of Attack of the Vine. So how much is that going to play a role on our wallets? And whenever it comes to deciding how much product to purchase, what do we think it's going to look like for the cost of some of these cards, especially these legendaries like Dell and stuff that we've already talked about?
Well, it didn't affect my wallet any because I spent the same amount of money
Well, I
as I
mean-
did the last time. So,
Right. Consistency.
yeah,
That's why we love you.
I'm consistent with. In fact, we were talking budget last night, and I was like, "Yeah, I've already bought the set. I spent this amount of money." My wife just goes, "Okay." So we've gotten to that. We've gotten to that point in our Lorcana journey. It's just like, yep, every 3 to 4 months, I'm going to spend X amount of money, and it's just going to be okay. So,
Dylan, not to get too much on your personal life on the show here, but you got a full household.
I do. I mean, we have 4 people in the house playing this. I'm fortunate enough that I do have a wife who loves Disney and wants to play Lorcana with us. And we've already got our kids to play this game with us and learn from this game so much. Both of them. So, I mean, we got to have enough cards for 4 different people without us fighting over who's going to be playing what.
Fighting over
For
Dale.
one. Yeah. And just different unique cards or whatever. It sucks to an extent because we always have to pick and choose who's running what ink color or who's running this or who's running that. So I feel like we have to purchase more product. But so we are getting 2 boxes. I guess isn't necessarily more than what we typically get because we almost always get 2 boxes in a trove. But the big thing here is going to be sealed events, right? With 4 people playing and even $35 a person or whatever, we always participate in 2 different sealed events, one at the sister store, one at our home LGS. And instead of having 2 people participate in that, we have 4 people participate in that at each one. So that's like 8 different sealed events. That's a lot right there.
Think about it like this. If your whole squad goes to a pre-release, you're essentially buying another booster box because you're getting 24 packs from the 4 of you. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll get all the promo cards and the postcards, and we'll have some to trade to people if they need, right?
It's expensive cardboard.
Yeah. You pay the Disney tax anyway, so.
The Disney tax. Yeah, so we're just doing the box and trove like we normally do. The first time I ever bought 2 boxes was during Whispers in the Well, and that's just because we were having a boys' day, open up product and stuff like that for the channel. So that was really fun. We've really gone the singles route, and I'll talk about that in a second. But we really have gone the singles route between Whispers and Winter Spell, where it's like, okay, cool, like we'll open up a box, but then it's like, we're not in the business of just buying pack just to buy product and rip. I know people love opening product, but it's like I would just rather spend the $20 to $40, get a play set of this card that Dale, I'm just gonna go and call it now, Dale for the set, and just be done with it rather than chase it. I know that some people like to open it because it's like, oh, you buy another booster box, you might open 2 Dales or whatever. But it sucks that this set is so short, and I think that shocked us whenever Attack of the Vine pre-release was announced. Like, it sucks that we get Toy Story, and it's like we have pre-release in May. June is set championships, and then July is pre-release for Attack of the Vine. Like, just to lay the timeline out, it is a short set. Deals like Infinity formats are going to be taking place all during the month of June and July. So it's going to be a weird set gameplay perspective because you're going to have the community split. You're going to have people who are really dead set on core constructed. And again, I need the Woody Playmat. Like, there's just no question about it. It's a greater need than Tinkerbell. But I'm going to have to focus on core, but then it's also at the same time, I have to be able to find success amongst the chaos and Infinity. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's my biggest disappointment with this set. And this is the last thing I have to say about it, is with the Infinity format coming up and most major events and DLCs being that Infinity format, this set, we have one set. We have 10 weeks right now before Attack of the Vine gets here. And I think that with the cards that were introduced this set, there's many, many ink types and ink combos that weren't getting a lot of love before, whether it was that Emerald Ruby that we've been waiting for to pop off in the past, Emerald Steel. There's so many different great combinations that any deck, it just seems like it right now, right? Any deck, any ink color could win. And without us having a major, I could be wrong here in thinking it, but it's like, I can't think of any major events off the top of my head. Again, could be wrong. That is going to be core constructed during this 10-week period where we're not going to get to actually see Illumineers cook with some of these decks, because in the past we've seen those top, like you've seen Dogs, you've seen the Amber Sapphire, you've seen whatever, but now we have Ruby Steel that's coming up and so many other cool decks that could come into play now just because the cards from this one set in combination with the other ones. And 10 weeks, rotation will happen, and we won't
Yeah.
necessarily get to see the cool combos, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be quick, and there's some discussion of like whether or not they did this intentionally because they want rotation to happen quicker. This isn't something that I don't think you could plan a whole set around based on what's happening currently. Like they've had this planned out for months, if not years at this point. Yeah, so I know there's some hoopla like, oh, they really want to get rid of Tramp and they really want to rotate. No, this has been in the timeline for forever.
I don't think it's they want to get rid of. I think they want to have rotation done before Continental
Worlds and the other stuff.
Yeah, or Nationals, whatever they're calling it now. Because they've got to give players time to practice decks, get decks together, and that gives them 4 weeks, 5 weeks,
roughly,
something like that.
It's all part of the timeline, all part of the script.
Yeah, so they knew what they were doing. One set had to be quote unquote short.
And unfortunately this one, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Also, I do think this is probably going to be one of the a very expensive legendary set as well. Between Merida and Dale, the Sapphire one, I know we didn't talk about them, but Sapphire is but there's some pretty notable cards. I do think we're going to see another expensive legendary set in Wilds Unknown.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards that are popular just because people want to collect them, too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Especially with...
I know we don't talk about it. They cooked with Kita. The Kita art, phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just great. But, we talked a little bit about Attack of the Vine, but we did get pre-release for it. We've kind of talked about it a little bit already, but Attack of the Vine, the set coming after Wilds Unknown, which introduces the game's second rotation and also some franchises. Pre-release on July 17th, big box full release being July 24th. So again, going back to that very short 10-week set for Wilds Unknown. We're going to get the product, and then we're going to almost be in set championship season right away. Now we did get some reveals in terms of the product itself. Again, there's not a whole lot to talk about here, so we're not going to completely over rotate. But we did get the booster box packaging as well. So again, this being the set where we're going to get cards like Monsters Inc. We have Mike, Sully, and Boo front and center. We haven't seen a whole lot of it yet, but we got Up. We got the House of the Balloons in the left-hand corner. But then we also do have we talked about this inside the last episode, but that re-emergence of the Honey Wizard, which is going to coincide with the co-op game. So we got Pooh pack art, we got Sully and Boo pack art, and then we got Ursula/Vanessa pack art because she's kind of taken a hybrid form here in a sense. So a little bit darker set, very reminiscent of Whispers in the Well, but makes sense because this is going to be our big bad set, which wasn't Hades, it was a Vine, and we'll talk about that as we progress. We also did get the Trove contents as well as part of the media assets. For the Trove contents itself, we got Belle, Maleficent, Gaston, Mirabelle, and what appears to be Christopher Robin. Russell card dividers. So I would expect this to be pack art to some degree or card art to some degree. But the first time we've kind of seen Russell first time we really kind of seen Russell in here.
Yeah. And the first time we see Russell, and then this is, I believe, the first still Maleficent that we've seen.
Yeah.
And important thing here with the Gaston, and I think it also goes back to that Ursula, Vanessa, whichever form she's taking within the art there. One of the big things that they announced with Attack of the Vine, or that they have on their website, are there are going to be these leafy doppelganger type versions of Glimmers, and it appears like Gaston will be kind of in that form or whatever, with his glowing green eyes there. You see like the grass and stuff, like the wheat almost coming off of his shoulder. It's very reminiscent to the entangled Glimmers that we got when we took on Ursula in the past.
Yep.
And Pooh is not our typical Honey Wizard art at all. This almost looks like a brand new Honey Wizard, maybe a Floodborn version of Honey Wizard. So if you have your Honey Wizards out there, that could very well, even though it's a vanilla card, become a shift target, a popular shift target for this potential Honey Wizard shift variant that we have here.
Go bling out your decks with Honey Wizards. You'll have to take out a second mortgage on your house, but if you know, you know. Let's see here. So we got the Honey Wizard-esque. I see what you did there in some of the notes. Honey Wizard-esque lore spinner, whether this is Honey Wizard or whatever. It's Pooh with a stick, with a hat. Lore spinner. The dice here as well. We got 6 dice, just normal with the trove. So the trove kind of gives us a little hint to some of the art to expect, kind of like what you're mentioning with the Gaston, with Russell, Maleficent, Christopher Robin. Let's see here. We've talked about this previously on the show, but we're just going to talk about it again. We do have the foil playmat that's going to be a Disney exclusive. So you do have the foil Pooh Honey Wizard-esque playmat with Tigger and Roo and Rabbit. I wish they would bring the stitching edge to all the playmats. I don't know why they don't do this, because the playmats do fray a little bit on the side. But this is going to be a Disney exclusive, and we haven't seen the foil playmats up to this point end up on Disney Store or Ravensburger Store. So maybe it truly is going to stay a Disney property exclusive at select properties. So we were kind of curious if these playmats would ever hit online stores, and so far we haven't seen them.
I don't own a single Disney Lorcana playmat personally, like myself. My son has one of the ones from Fabled or whatever that has not the beautiful foiled one there, but he has the one with that Mickey on it, the Brave Little Prince or whatever. This may be the very first Lorcana playmat that I attempt to get, because I just absolutely love this playmat and the art.
Yeah, it's sharp, and especially it's going to be so thematic with the co-op game coming out too. But speaking of playmats, we did get our first look at Wild's Unknown playmats, that being the Circle of Life, the Circle of Life Enchanted. Enchanted? Yes.
Yes, I believe
Enchanted
so.
art? Okay. Yep. I was having a crisis. I don't know why I thought like Rafiki was holding him or something like that. But Circle of Life Enchanted, but then we also get, I'm going to call it the splash art, this Attack of the Vine splash art. I'm curious, because usually the playmats either resemble an action or character to some degree, but this is the splash art for the set, the box art, if you will, for the set, making its way to a playmat, which makes me think one of two things. Either this is like an action card that has yet to be revealed, or maybe they're doing something different and they're having the splash art for the set be a playmat. I'd say the likelihood that it's an action is probably higher, but the first time we've kind of seen that outside of like, Brave Little Prince and Minnie and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great call. I didn't even pay attention to that, but yeah, the splash art, the key art there. I think that there's been some really cool art in the past that would have been awesome on playmats, and now I'm really interested. I got my eyes peeled to see if that will be an action card or not that we see in Wilds Unknown, because right now we haven't seen anything but 3 brand new cards from that Monsters Inc. franchise, which we'll talk about now. The first of which is Sully. New boss, a 5-cost uninkable 4/4 that quest for 1. He is a storyborn hero monster. So one of the first times that we're seeing that monster classification, another one being the Leviathan from the Wilds Unknown that we just got, who had it. This is a bodyguard who has the ability rehire. When you play this character, you may return a character card from your discard to your hand. And then it's the next one we have here is Boo. It's a 3-cost uninkable ruby card, Boo Energetic Child. She's a 0/1 with Rush. This ability, Kid Catastrophe. Whenever this character challenges another character with 3 strength or less, banish that character, in parentheses here or whatever, no damage is dealt in that challenge. So even though Boo is a 0/1, if she challenges a character with 3 strength or less, she will automatically banish them, but no damage is dealt in the challenge, so Boo will get to stick around.
That just clicked with me. I was like, oh, it's like a rush to get rid of Boo. But I'm like, wait a second, that's a weird thing to put in parentheses. Nope.
She'll stay around. She will only be taken out if you attack or challenge a character with 3 strength or more, or if she is challenged, or your typical removal or whatever else. Which is pretty cool. And then lastly is Mike Wazowski with one eye that is not covered up. I know that was the big conversation coming in, is would they do a funny? And I think that Ryan Miller talked about it and said that it would have been awesome to do. They went against it because they wanted to showcase the art and stuff here. But Mike Wazowski is a 1-cost inkable 2/1, the well-rounded entertainer with the ability make them laugh. When you play this character, you may pay 2 ink to give chosen character +1 lore this turn. Pretty cool card. That is our first look at the Monsters Inc. cards. My big takeaway from this is not that it's strange, but this may be the first time that we are getting characters introduced to the world of Lorcana post their movie, not during their movie. These are storyborn versions, but it seems like Mike here, the well-rounded entertainer, the world of Monstropolis has already moved on from scaring and is now laughing. And Sully was the new boss in charge or something like that, which means that these characters as storyborn versions are being introduced after the events of the movie, or that first Monsters Inc. movie has taken place.
Yeah. Two things.
Weird thing to point out.
2 things with this is, look at the number on Mike. What number card he is.
That's the big thing too, right? It's very strange here that there are 207 cards in the base set for Attack of the Vine. Base cards. Because we know that those epics and enchanteds and iconics will go past that typical number. But to this point, we've had, 204 in every set so far? So we're getting 3 extra cards. I don't know about you, Preston, but the math's not mathing there. With 204, that's only 3 extra cards. So that's not 1 per ink. I'm not sure what they'll do there. But I don't know. I think that they're definitely planning something.
Reprints. Maybe there's something they want to reprint.
Yeah, that was where my thought went to.
Yeah, that's my initial prediction. And there's a lot we don't know about this set. My initial thought is they have the base, what they want to introduce, but then there's something they want to reprint into the set. I'm going to make a general comment. The art style, not that it's bad, but it's a lot different than what I thought whenever we look at Mike is probably my favorite of the 3. But if you look at Boo and Sully, the art styles almost looks like something out of the film itself. It doesn't look like it a rendition of, well, obviously the vines.
It looks like concept art.
Yeah, it almost looks like a good concept art. Not that it's bad or anything like that, but just the texturing, the stuff like that. Like Sully looks extremely smooth, like a cat. Like, well, I mean, I guess I don't know, but the art style is a little bit different than what I thought. But I'm curious to see if this is going to be consistent in Attack of the Vine. But just an initial call out was, we were able to kind of get a good pulse on the art direction, and this is a little bit different than what I thought. So,
I mean, that's something to keep an eye on too, I guess. Like, if you think about Toy Story, we were like, how is Pixar going to look whenever you go from that CGI realm to the realm of Lorcana? And all the cards are kind of like toys, right? Toys are kind of plasticky, right. So they all kind of have a consistent look. Whereas Monsters Inc., with these monsters, they have so many different textures on it. I think it's a great watch if folks listening could go find how they made Sully and CGI version, and you're talking about how smooth he is, because in the actual like Monsters Inc., when they were creating him, every one of those strands of fur were like individually programmed. So with stuff like that, and then you see like the scales on Randall and just all the different textures on these monsters, it'll be interesting how they go about approaching them art-wise on all these different cards.
Yeah. I think generally, like, I still think it's too early to see like how excited we are. Like, cool, we got 3 cards in packaging. Like, it's not enough to get me excited for it quite yet. Now, I know, again, some people are going to be very excited that Monsters Inc. and turning red inside the set. Like, I think it's too early. I also think it's too early for what iconics are going to be the set. Anything is possible, truly.
Listen, I just want a Roz. I just want a Roz iconic. That's it.
Braw's iconic, Boo iconic. I mean, again, we have to think about princesses. So turning red, I don't.
Roz is a princess. No,
Ra-
for sure.
Roz being a princess. I think it's too early to make any sort of calls, really. I don't know. Maybe the lore cast before Wilds Unknown will get some card reveals for for Attack of the Vine. I don't know. But I
Maybe.
digress.
But then that brings us to the set after that, because man, they were on a roll during this special lorecast that just happened, introducing the sets. I think that drops the excitement down a little bit too, right?
We
Is
talked about
the
that.
big
Yeah.
complaint, right? Is because like right now the focus should be on Wilds Unknown, and then not only are we seeing Wilds Unknown, but you're immediately going in and showing us the next 2 or 3 sets. It's that constant drip feed of dopamine. Like here's what to look forward to next. You only have 10 weeks to have fun with Wilds Unknown, but here's the next thing.
I strongly dislike it, but it's just marketing and business
It
at this
is.
point. It's all it is. Like I don't like it, but it's business. We are the goal is to keep us focused on what's coming.
But then we'll quickly talk about the 2 sets that were revealed about that. The next one being the set that will come out in Q4 of 2026, Hyperia City. This is absolutely beautiful key art or splash art here. I think the big things to note of this are Coco is coming, which we already knew. And at first glance, when we saw this, I know me and you were on the same page. We were like, man, this is very Arcasia coded, like
Yeah.
to a sense. Like you look over at this architecture with the spires, the coloring of
All right.
that white the white marble and stuff, that the golded like gilding, the lore pips and story stars that we see. It's very, very Arcasia coded. This we believe will be a new Lorcana original location, just like Hexwell Island or Arcasia's Island was. And just reading real quick what they state on the actual website, it says, "Welcome to a town where Metro meets fantasy. Here you can join the likes of heroes, princesses, and a magical wizard or two. Music and art bring these animated streets to life, but something nefarious is happening in the back alleys and waterways. Have a great visit, but keep an eye out for any funny business." So this is kind of setting up, and it alludes to some deeper storytelling happening in the back streets of some of these cards and stuff here within Hyperia City. 2 big things. I know when you first saw this, your immediate response was Duel Link is coming back, right? Which I think you're right, Preston. I think Duel Link
To
will be
some
coming
degree.
back to some degree. I think we will see Duel Link cards, but I look at this and I don't see Duel Link. And this is just a prediction or whatever, but I see this Miguel here, and you see all the ink colors entwined to one. Duel Link, as far as we have seen it in the past, has been 2 ink colors. That's it. I see every ink color here blended together into one. To me, this is something more magical, and this is possibly mixed ink, because to this point, we know that this vine that has been growing out of control during this story set so far right now is imbued with the power of mixed ink. The ink that kind of mixed together and flooded all the way back during Rise of the Floodborn. And now that it's soaked into the ground and the vines have kind of sucked it all up and came out of control, what's going to happen to all that mixed ink after we actually take on the vine in Attack of the Vine and potentially defeat it? We have no clue where that ink's going to go. So maybe that'll play a role here too.
Maybe.
Just a guess or something we would like to see potentially with
Or it
that
could be
next
nothing.
gimmick. Or it could be absolutely nothing, right? And then the big important thing that came out of this was during a narrative main stage, it was kind of talked about and discussed slightly that this isn't necessarily going to be a continuation of the story as we see it right now. Once Attack of the Vine comes out, rotation happens, we move on to the next overarching story. They do not have to continue where they kept up. They can go anywhere. They could go do some timey-wimey shenanigans and potentially show us some stuff that happened in the past. This is something that we talked about when Fabled was first introduced that we would absolutely love to see, and we would love to learn more about what happened in Lorcana's past, what caused the Illuminary to kind of crumble in the first place, who was Arcasia and her friends and those Illumineers. And maybe we are finally going to get to see some of that once Hyperia City comes out. Because this might not be something that's happening right now in the present, but is in Lorcana's past.
And this is the only thing we know about Hyperia City, this art. So
Yep.
still a lot to come out. But speaking of just having one image, in that same pre-game of Wilds Unknown, we did get our first look at a Q1 2027 set featuring Onward. And that is it. So
That's it.
That's it. I get it. Like, you know, these lore casts are just and these pre-game shows are just nothing more than more. It's like an Apple event. It's a marketing thing, right? You know, it's there to drive sales, drive hype. I don't know. Like I think whenever they do these things, they really just need to keep a focus on Wilds. But if you have that many eyes watching the big special lorecast for Wilds, you might as well go ahead and dingle a few other things in front of people's eyeballs. And I've never seen Onward. Can't tell you anything about it. I thought these are original Lorcana IP at first. So I think this is when did Onward come out?
During COVID season, and that's why
Okay.
nobody's seen it.
So yeah, exactly. So this to me indicates that the game, it's almost like whenever, and again, I know nothing about Magic, but whenever Magic started doing like universes beyond and stuff like that, not that this is something similar, but like we're officially reaching like modern era like Pixar and stuff like that. Like we've already got a lot of franchises, a lot of the same franchises over and over again. So again, this just seems like this is going to be the set where we're going to start seeing maybe some more modern stuff, but this is all we know about it. We got person A and person B. I don't know who these people are.
I think Oliver and Company, right? That's the first thing I think is Oliver and Company. Well, no, I guess that'd be in Hyperia City. I don't know. Again, we know nothing. We have one image. We have one image of the brothers here, and we know nothing else.
Brothers, sidekicks. I had their own lore made up in my head whenever I saw this image. I was like, cool, we got Wizard Man and Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I don't know. So, I was like, I know nothing. But so real quick, Dylan did another episode of Let's Talk Lore. So check that out. We'll put it inside the description or in an iCard if you're watching on YouTube. But a little bit of lore stuff. New Inkcaster?
New Inkcaster. So Lorcana is full of Illumineers. We've continuously been following the story of Martin, Venturo, and Shanzay, but we have some off-screen characters that we only know their names, and that's it. We had Hana introduced back in Whispers in the Well. There's, like Preston said, there's a whole Let's Talk Lore video all about her and about her importance that showcases every card that has referenced her to this point. My prediction at that time was that she is a Ruby Illumineer. The only thing that we really know is she's from present day, and she entered the world of Lorcana shortly after everybody else did. But man, was I wrong. She is not a Ruby Illumineer, which we quickly found out in the recent narrative main stage. She is actually a Amber Sapphire Illumineer. So keep that in mind in Wilds as you look at some of these Sapphire cards and Amber cards, especially ones that are representative of flowers. And I know flowers is a running theme in Wilds, but specifically the Isabella cards that we have, and maybe even a Minnie Mouse that's very Amber Sapphire coated, because Hana is the Japanese name for flower, which I thought was pretty interesting. And even though we haven't seen her Inkcaster or her on screen yet, or in a card or anywhere, she does exist within the world of Lorcana, and she absolutely loves all of Lorcana's flora and fauna as she's documented it all within Hana's Herborium. And then this set, whenever I thought we were going to get more information about Hana, they throw out a whole new Illumineer named Amazu. At least I think I'm pronouncing that right. We have not seen this Illumineer at all, but we have seen his Inkcaster, which is a 2-drop uninkable Amazu's Inkcaster. It has the ability on the horizon. You can exert it and spend 1 ink to look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a location card and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. The flavor text here reads, "It always points the way to new adventures. So this character was said to be a amethyst ruby or ruby amethyst character or glimmer, whatever, Illumineer who can use those. This Inkcaster, to me, it almost looks like a walking stick, but it also kind of looks like a saber that you would see in like fencing. The big things here is this is a drifter who is on the outskirts of the Inklands in these far off biomes and locations, who's kind of moving from place to place. We know that in the story he is currently in that great empty sea and the desert location doing something. So maybe we'll learn more about it with the story or in the lore cards themselves. This is very Rafiki coded to me, like this character, just the way that he's like being introduced, the things that the glimmers are saying about him or whatever. And the cool thing here, if we're talking about translations, is his name is a Nigerian name that actually means, if I can find it, I had it pulled up here. I just thought this was really neat. It is a Nigerian name that means no one knows everything, which I just thought was so cool. And we don't know what these characters look like, but in my mind, the way that I'm pictured them, maybe these characters are from like whatever they were like sucked into the world of Lorcana and called upon by the Great Illuminary. They're real life locations. Maybe they were over in like these Asian markets and these other places, and that's just such a cool way to introduce these characters as Wilds Unknown as the first set that will be released simultaneously worldwide, all across the entire world.
I'd
And
like to
then the last,
see I'd like to
go ahead.
see the lore cards allude to this and bring us to the Hyperia City in a sense. Like, I don't know, maybe it's more of Attack of the Vine, but I digress.
Yeah. But then the last character we have, which this is really neat because this is kind of going to roll us into some products here too. So a while back, it was announced that we're going to be getting two upcoming narrative projects that are set to release in the future, probably in like January or this summer or something like that. The first of which is the next installment of the Disney Lorcana official collector's guides that will cover sets 9 through 13. Okay. But then the second is the Disney Lorcana Quest of Wonders and Illumineers lore book. That's all the information we had. We do not have a cover, we do not have a price, we do not have anything but the name. But the first bit of information is starting to appear online about this product whenever it comes to more details about it and stuff on some like kind of like Amazon and stuff like that where you would purchase these products. And I think it's important for us to take a look at the description of this product because it has a lot of information here. Again, there's no cover or anything like that. But the big thing right up top, limited edition with exclusive promo card while supplies last. We know that the collector's guides did not have promo cards with them, yet we did see at that Festival of Arts that there are different promos that we have yet to see yet, like the narrative promos. And we were wondering when we would get those or see those. Maybe this is the first product that will have that narrative promo with it. And then just reading through this real quick, it says when Illumineer Shanze comes across in a lore book, she is left with many questions. Who did it belong to? Why was it hidden? The more she reads about the author's adventure, how he set out with his glimmers of Peter Pan and Pegasus in search of his missing mentor, the more shocking her discoveries become, which she records in marginal notes. This is an immersive and unique reading experience in diary form that brings the fantastic realm of Disney Lorcana to life in a whole new way. With this official lore book, readers join Shanzay in delving into the writings of an early Illumineer. Her marginal notes comment on a dramatic story about the search for the mentor Arcasia, a sinister conspiracy, and a tragic betrayal. Numerous illustrations of Disney glimmers, an ancient map, and handwritten note, and other special extras such as an elegant slipcase make this extraordinary book a true collector's item. So much information here to unpack. Again, you get your promo card, great for collectors, but we're already seeing some connections back to Arcasia, Lorcana's past, and Hyperia City alluded to the fact that there could be some nefarious things going on in the back streets and alleys. And now we're learning that this book here talks about how there's some sinister conspiracies and stuff to unravel and tragic betrayals. Does this play any role to those ancient Illumineers and friends of Arcasia who things didn't go well? According to Arcasia and her lore cards from that set, there were things that happened in the past that didn't go well.
Related
Does
but
this connect to the
unrelated.
curator at all?
Do we get connected art for Peter Pan and Pegasus? Or is this something you cooked up?
Nope, this is connected art. These are cards that are being introduced in this set currently, Wilds Unknown of Peter Pan and Pegasus, which, again, reading that description, this ancient Illumineer, his two glimmers that he used were Peter Pan and Pegasus. And we have this connected art here with the flavor text that shows that these two cards are kind of looking for each other. They're lost within Wilds Unknown, and they're trying to find one another. This is also the first connected art since, I think, Brutus and Nero that is connected art of glimmers from two different ink colors. So
I
there's
was
just
reading the
varying stuff.
description. Are you sure they're looking for each other, or are they looking for somebody else?
I think they're looking for each other is the way that it was described in the narrative main stage.
It says, okay. I see. I haven't seen the narrative main stage, but I see the description. The more she reads about the author's adventure, how he set out with his glimmers of Peter Pan and Pegasus in search of his missing mentor.
Yeah. I mean, that was all the way back in the past, right?
Yeah.
Whatever events are unfolding in that new book and the Quest of Wonders. I mean, I'm super excited for that product. I think it's the kind of product that we've been waiting for a very, very, very long time, that we were hoping the collector's guide would have within it, and it didn't. So now that we're getting that, it's great. And I think that having a promo tied to it is going to bring the collectors in, and hopefully will get people to stick around and care more about this deeper story that's taking place that they've kind of rooted throughout this entire story arc right now of the Vine.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a special lorecast. Maybe. Probably.
And if not, and we don't see it in Attack of the Vine or something like that, maybe we'll hear more about it at some other major event, such as Gen Con.
This little convention in Indiana that has me in Indiana more than I ever thought in my entire life. So I never thought I'd be making a yearly pilgrimage to Indiana this time too. But no, to round out our show here, we've talked about a lot. There's been a lot of news, and we strategically waited for this episode because we wanted to talk to y'all again once we had the full picture of everything we know with Wilds and going forward. But before we wrap up here, we do have to talk a little bit about events. And I really tried to make like a concert poster, but like it didn't work out the way I fumbled around. So I kept the usual, but we are hitting the road this summer. We are hitting up a variety of events. The first one is going to be, well, not really the first in order, but we are going to Gen Con again this year. Many of our friends and locals already knew that we were going back to Gen Con, but we wanted to officially announce it because we are starting to make plans for the event. I do think the catalog does come up in early May. Whether or not Lorcana stuff is on there, we'll see and find out. But we are starting to do that. So very similar to what we did last year at Gen Con, the stories, the videos, we're going to be doing all sorts of content, not just for Lorcana, but any other tabletop experiences that we actually get into at Gen Con. If you see us, come say hi. We do have stickers this time. That's one thing we did not have last year, but I've been bringing them to events, so we will have stickers this time, and it's really fun. I was really on the fence of going back to Gen Con because I was like, I don't know if this is an every year thing, but just with the frequency in which these sets are coming out, I don't know if I'm going to do the CCQ at Gen Con, but yeah, there's plenty of stuff to cover, and primarily, also, we have I like the little note here at the Ink Table Chateau Lodge Lounge, stuff like that. We get a house. We have some same crews coming up. Another one of our locals, Matt's coming with us. But this does bring us to that convention playmat. Every year they do print a convention playmat with a year. And yeah, I'll just let you all feast your eyes on this thing because yeah, Buzz Buzz is on there, so it's a natural need. Unless this is just a very early rendering, this doesn't have the year on it. It doesn't say 2026 in the bottom right hand corner like how years past did 2023 and 2024. So maybe it's just an early rendering. But we do have Mulan, we have Stitch Experiment 626, we got Powerline, we got Buzz, we got Mrs. Incredible and Gaston. So probably one of the best playmats they ever did. I really liked the Treasure Planet one with Jim Hawkins, but we were never anywhere. So not only is this playmat going to be making an appearance at Gen Con as like if it's anything like last year, an undefeated record in a competitive event, we'll give you the playmat. I would expect this playmat to be at other conventions like PAX. This is kind of similar to that seasonal promo. This is like the convention playmat. Whenever there's Lorcana events, this is kind of like the big chase. Lastly, because we also went ahead and posted on the thing as well, is we've talked about it previously, but I'll be heading up to DLC Indy as well for the first Infinity DLC in June. So in June, I'm heading up to Indiana, and in July, I'm heading up to Indiana. So I'm spending a lot of time in Indiana this summer, but I'm not participating in the big Friday side event. I'm purely reserving all my energy for the main event. And let's just say there's a reason why we didn't see a lot of big names participate in anything Friday, because they wanted to lock in and focus for the main event. So I'll be heading up there. I'll have stickers with me too as well. I'll have to get them from John, but same thing there. I'll be covering stories, et cetera. The last DLC in North America in the Infinity format, which they did ban Hiram, which I don't think we've talked about on the show since then, but they did ban Hiram in the Infinity format. So things are really wide open for the format. And I think this is a good place to remind people, like, if you have a group of people going to Indiana, maybe have a conversation with your local games shop. Maybe see if you can get an Infinity thing going on. So I know that's something we've talked about as we kind of near rotation. So have a conversation with your local game shop, get your testing groups together, and revisit the Infinity format. So, but Gen Con will be a good time. It's always a good time. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. So we'll post this again. Almost, I think it's on our socials right now, but we'll post it again as we get near on the stories and stuff. So follow us on all the platforms so you don't miss any of that stuff. And I don't know, maybe Dylan wouldn't have to wait. So what set's going to be legal at Gen Con? Rotation's already going to happen, yes? Yes.
Attack of the Vine will already be out because we thought Attack of the Vine would come out after Gen Con, but it'll actually, because it releases July 17th. It's pre-release, and then Gen Con's the end of July, beginning of August.
So the CCQ. The CCQ is core constructed, so that'll be interesting to have Wilds or Attack of the Vine and Rotation CCQ. It's not an Infinity CCQ, is it?
I don't think so. I think it's regular core constructed.
That'll be interesting.
It'll be the first core constructed event that we see, similar to it'll be our first look at what we see for the Continentals or whatever, right? For the North America Championship, European Championship. So it'll be a vibe check to see what we'll see at those major events.
Maybe I'll have to do the CCQ just to see what that's like, because like I went, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, I forgot all about it. I forget rotations happening. So it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time regardless. I know maybe Dylan and John will become Cookie Run MVPs or get the playmat for Cookie Run at Gen Con maybe. John's like, yeah, that's an idea. It's really cool. If you haven't been to Gen Con, we have some videos and some stories up from Gen Con from last year, but I was pleasantly surprised. But now we have the yearly poker ridge. And Dylan, your whole crew's coming up this time, right?
The whole crew is coming up. And whenever it comes to coverage, we're going to be covering it a little bit more different than what we did last year. We'll definitely be there. Lorcana is the primary. We can't wait to see the entire community. I can't wait to see other content creators and stuff there like last year, if they're there, and anybody else who stops and says hi and sees us. Can't wait for all of that, the events. I really hope that they do some more collection quests, because we haven't talked about or heard about any of those for a while since, they're at DLCs, it's like side events maybe, but I really am excited for that. But me and John participated in a lot of non-Lorcana stuff last year, and I think that that'll be something that probably happens again this year that we try to cover a little bit better. And I think that we're going to, even though Lorcana is the primary, we're always going to have that as our primary focus here because that's what brought us here to begin with. We do want to showcase some other fun things that people can do around their own tables.
One thing I'm probably going to do this year is I would love to give Riftbound a try. Not that I have any desire to play it at a local game shop, but it kind of goes back to our Gen Con episode. Like, discovery of what was happening was really hard, and it's like if I would have known Riftbound was a thing, then I would have done it. So,
I mean, it's cool. As first-time TCG players, just trying another game out and being like, "Oh, okay, I see how this compares," or seeing the
same thing with
differences
Pokemon.
between. Well, right. Yeah. I mean, heck, me and John played Gundam. We tried out Gundam with Dan from the Forbidden Mountain,
I remember
like
that.
playing with. Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but no, again, I'm a simple man. I see Toy Story, I have to have it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a lot. I feel like I'm a lot better player than what I was at Gen Con. So like maybe getting the playmat will be a little bit easier this time around, just because I don't get nervous anymore whenever it comes to those environments. Like, it's just another day turning cardboard sideways. That's probably been the biggest growth thing for me, at least since Gen Con and going to DLCs and more set championships. Is like that's no longer a variable for me. Now, if I have coffee, it's a little bit of a different story, but I digress. It's gonna be a fun summer. I'm looking forward to hanging out with everyone this summer. But that does bring us to the end of this episode. Again, a lot of wilds unknown, little bit of Attack of the Vine, but what's to come this summer. So you can hit us up for anything business inquiries, podcast at theinktable.com, merch at our Fourth Wall linked down in the description, theinktable-shop.fourthwall.com. All links inside the description, the Gram, TikTok, Facebook, etc. You also find our link tree down there as well. If you are listening to this podcast, it means the world if you would consider subscribing, liking, or even leave us a review on your audio platform of choice. Gives us more visibility, more listeners, helps us more than you can ever know, even if you have comments about our accents. So, yeah.
Caller.
But no matter where you're listening, we would also really appreciate if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are pushing to 500 subscribers, so help us reach that goal over at our YouTube channel here as well. Regardless of wherever you're listening, there will always be a seat for you at the Ink Table. Have fun at your pre-release events. May your packs be blessed, and we'll see you all inside May's episode.
I guess.
This podcast is part of the Gamers Lounge Radio Network. Get more gaming news and shows at www.the-gamers-lounge.com.